Hey everybody, it's Maya here. It's Tuesday on Queering Feminism. This week's topic is women-only spaces. This is a topic that I think is really important to feminism and to the queer movement because the idea of women-only spaces first occurred in like the second wave of feminism when the lesbian feminists became very well known, and they were most notably known as the lesbian separatists. And this is an important part of feminism, I think, because it teaches us a lot about inclusion and exclusion and things of that nature. One thing that I wanted to talk about specifically with women-only spaces is the idea that women-only spaces are the same as men-only spaces, which I don't personally agree with, because women-only spaces need to be specifically designated, whereas men-only spaces are very many places within the world today. Now granted, feminism in general, all 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waves that we're ever going to have, who knows, are probably, they're always going to be pushing for that there are no men-only spaces, and therefore everything is just people-only spaces, which I guess is my hope eventually. I have a problem typically with women-only spaces. I get the idea behind them, women empowerment, somewhere away from the male gaze. However, I think that while they may have been well intended, they're no longer really I don't know if I want to say relevant, but I just feel like with our the ideas and the theories and the realities of this gender spectrum that we have, it's important to acknowledge that we need to ask the question, I guess, who defines what women-only spaces are? And is that, as we've seen in the controversy of the Michigan Women's Festival, female-born, females only, so where do people within the trans continuum fit on this women-only spaces? So I have a problem with that. Something recently happened in my life, I guess, where the student group that I'm part of was invited to this event, and it's supposedly empowering young women and girls. It's like a dance party, but it's only girls and women that are allowed to go, so that that we are free to dance and be ourselves and express ourselves without having to worry about like different sex appeal and such and things like that. However, there were 2 rules, and they were no boys and no booze. Which I understand, I guess, both of them within the concept. Although I brought up the question, well, what does no boys mean, and who defines what boys are, and who defines what women are in the category of women, and these different ideas of the gender continuum and this gender spectrum, which I wholeheartely believe in, and I guess urge you to look into if it's something new to you. There isn't this binary between feminine identified women and masculine identified men, and it doesn't have to be this either or dichotomy, that there can be this fluidity that exists within heterosexual relationships, within homosexual relationships, within just interaction of people, and I think that's important to keep in mind. And so my biggest thing about women-only spaces are that I understand the empowerment behind them, but I guess I caution people to at least question what does women-only spaces mean, and what does it mean in the context of which you're looking at it? Does it mean, are we looking strictly at biology? I mean, who has a vagina or a clit or boobs or what? Or who doesn't have a penis? Or, I mean, or are we looking more at how we personally identify? And if that's the case, then you know, we still are lacking in that that idea of, well, what about trans men? Do we decide then as a community that trans-identified men then would not be women, and then would not, even though they may be female-bodied, or what about trans women who are female identified but may or may not be female bodied, and so we have all this. It's not a black and white answer, as is so many things in life, right? But I guess that would be my discussion on it, where feminism and queer theory coexist. I think this is a huge topic, because you've got this women-only spaces idea within feminism, in which to empower women, which begins with a good idea, but then we need to look at the implications of this also, and raise these questions as to who decides and who gives them the power to decide what woman and what man constitute, and what women only means. I guess this video doesn't really give a whole lot of answers, as to instead just brings up a lot more questions and ideas to think about. But I hope this sparks some discussion, and I'd really love for people to comment back and let us know what you think of starting these discussions. And it would be really nice if we could get some dialogue going within comments or within different vlogs and stuff on these different kinds of issues. I know I'd really like to become a part of that. So hope everybody has a good one, and I will see you next week. Peace.